how did they compare to other roofing companies?
Well, basically, Talent Roofing has developed a good reputation in that when you call them, they show up, which is big in today's world in the industry where people, if you need work done, they just don't show up sometimes. But probably one of the biggest things is when we've had some storms in the area, and TJ has come out to other customers' house to help them out initially, like with tarping, or just see what he can do to help out without asking for anything. In a time of disaster for people, they're under a high stress situation, and using a local roofer and someone who knows the area, who's going to be around when you need them, goes extraordinary ways in helping in the future. Because when you have storm situations, things like that, you have a lot of people that show up, fly-by-night folks. People come from out of town. Some of them are legitimate, some of them aren't. So you don't really know what you're dealing with. And with TJ, he's local, and I always try to tell people it's better to use someone local. That way, in the future, if you have a problem, they can come out there and readdress it or take care of it. And that's one good thing about TJ. I've heard many stories where he would show up, help people tarp a roof or replace a couple of shingles, and never charge them for it. And just walk away from it. Never even, he hopes to get a job out of it, but he doesn't go into it expecting, I need to get that job because I did that for him, so they owe it to me. TJ doesn't look at it that way. He looks at it as his way of, I think, of really giving back and helping folks in time of need. And that's one thing that in today's world with roofing or any type of trade, it's hard to find. And I really do appreciate that, because it's nice to have someone that you can pick up the phone and call. And TJ may not necessarily be the cheapest, because there's a lot, you can always get stuff done cheap, but it doesn't mean it's done right. And TJ doesn't cut corners with his roofing process. So that is, and I compare it a lot to like getting a good pair of shoes. If you buy a pair of cheap shoes from a discount store, you wear them for a couple of weeks, then all of a sudden your feet are hurting, the shoes aren't doing what they're supposed to, you quit wearing them. You just kind of throw them in the closet or just get rid of them. You'll go out and spend money for a good pair of shoes, because who wants to walk around with sore feet all day, or just things that just hurt all the time? So if you're willing to do that for yourself, you should do it for your home as well. And I think that is the steps and the process and the way Talent Roofing thinks. Do it right on the front end, and then you shouldn't have any problems. And if there's mistakes made or if something comes up, TJ stands behind his work. And I know personally of one customer that TJ went back on his house like 3 or 4 times to address situations that had nothing to do with the work that TJ did, but he was just the type of person that just went out there and wanted to help them. And because the person didn't understand, he would direct them towards the right way and tell him what he needed to do or who he needed to get with for that situation. But that was one of those things where most people would say, hey, just stop calling me, this has nothing to do with me. But he didn't, and I really do appreciate that.